Oh, you're,
Yeah,
John,
no.
can you get us going on this, if you don't mind? Hello?
Easy one. It's okay. You're usually up on the screen.
All right.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, Groton RTM, public at large. This is the Town of Groton Representative Town Meeting, regular meeting for May 8th, 2024. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we're going to get a roll call from the town clerk.
Adams. Here. Bailey.
Here.
Burrell. Here. Casper.
Here.
Crockett Hubbard.
Nope.
Dinchinbrook.
Here.
Dutton. Here. Fetters. Fitzgerald. Fritchie.
Here.
Fox.
Here.
Gardner.
Here.
Gibbs.
I don't see Gibbs.
Okay. Hanscom.
Here.
Herbert. Caden. Keeps.
Here.
Luck. Massett. I see her. She's there. Yep, she's.
Yep, you're
She's
muted,
muted.
but we can
Yeah,
see you. Okay, thank you.
McElroy. Norman.
Norma notified that she is not going to be here or might be late.
Okay. Aubrey. Perella.
Here.
Perry.
Here.
K. Powers.
Here.
S. Powers.
Here.
Pulaski.
Here.
Robertson.
Here.
Amritz.
Here.
V.C. Williams.
Here.
Watson.
Here.
Wells.
Here.
M. Whitney.
Here.
Good.
Here.
Johansson.
Here.
F. Whitney.
Here.
Frickman.
Here.
Hamboa.
I am here.
29.
All right. It's our record right now. Yes, Rep. Fitzgerald, do you have your hand up stating that you're here?
Oh.
Fitzgerald, do you have your hand up? All right, I'll just take that as she's here.
I am here.
She's here,
Okay,
so that
thank
makes
you.
it 30.
We're at 30 now. Okay. All right, we have 30 members present. I'm going to declare a quorum. And again, I just wanted to, before we move any forward, just wanted to recognize our newest members to the group, Representative Good, representing District 4. We have Representative Whitney F., representing District 5. We have Representative Lisa Johansson, representing District 5 as well. And Representative Frickman coming back to join us, representing District 6. So again, I thank you for volunteering your service to our community and coming here this evening. With that being said, we're going to move on to item B, moment of silence, salute to the flag. Can all please stand for a moment of silence? Representative Gardner, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, item C, approval of minutes. If there are no objections, additions, omissions, I am going to approve the minutes for the April 10th regular RTM meeting. April. Did I say May? It's April. It's from last month. All right, seeing none, we're going to approve those minutes. Thank you so much. All right, so we're on to agenda item D, public petitions. This is a portion of the RTM agenda where the RTM welcomes comments from the public. Each presentation should be limited to no more than 5 minutes or less, as directed by the moderator, and if possible, submit written comments. Presentation should be limited to matters pertinent to the town of Groton. The moderator or members through the moderator shall ask questions only in order to clarify the speaker's presentation. Responses may be given by the moderator and/or by the town manager. Individuals should state their name and address for the record. And if you did wish to speak virtually, you would have to register at council@grotonct.gov no later than 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Do we have anyone up?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Mary Tullis Engvall?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Excellent.
indeed.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here to talk a little bit about the Mystic and Noank Library. Back in 1893, Captain Elihu Spicer understood the power of knowledge and the equitable ability of a library to offer a community equal access to information. Today, over 130 years later, we remain grateful for his philanthropic gift to build a beautiful brick, granite, and marble Romanesque style structure that still stands today as the Mystic and Noank Library. But this library is far more than just a beautiful building. It has and still contributes to the community spirit of Mystic. Residents and visitors enter its doors to learn something new, connect with old friends, or make new ones, or simply enjoy the special solace that libraries of any type are so good at providing. Those patrons know what I mean when I say it is not just a bunch of books. It is so much more. It is a place that makes us all better informed, better neighbors, better leaders, better citizens. If you have them, I invite you to think back on your own memories of the Mystic and Noank Library. Were you a child fascinated by all the books that stood ready to whisk you away on an amazing adventure? Or a parent who still remembered that magical feeling, so you brought your own children to enjoy that same experience? Or does it bring you back to studying, researching, and writing for a school or professional assignment, where just the calm environment gave you a sense of confidence that you could actually tackle that project? As part of our new strategic plan initiative, we recently asked those we serve to share a little bit about what the Mystic and Noank Library means to them. Here is what a few of your fellow residents told us. It's my home away from home. Economic forces are changing in our area. Patrons may use library resources instead of paid streaming services as they feel the real or perceived effects of inflation. This includes increased use of digital resources such as Mango language learning and the New York Times online. The library is an anchor in this community. So with those comments and my own feeling, I believe that this is the critical economic argument for funding the Mystic and Noank Library. The enriching environment and practical services the Mystic and Noank Library provides produces both tangible and intangible human benefits, adding to our quality of life and our sense of place. Funding the equitable access to information and imagination is an investment in the well-being of our residents. Simply put, it is a powerful tool to maintain and continue to build a successful community. Each year, our staff and volunteers work tirelessly to fundraise, but the funding we receive from the town of Groton is critical in helping us keep the doors to this very special place open for all. I thank you for your time and consideration, and we hope that you will support the current funding recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just got a message, town manager and town clerk, about, I don't know who this is from, whoever 3138 last digits are, not sure if I have full Zoom access. Oh, okay. I gotta put her in the phone from now on, all right. Got that. Working on that? Mr. Burt, thank you.
I'll email.
All right, give me a second. Okay. All right, that was the end of our public petitions that signed up. Oh, typically we sign up, sir, so if you want, you could just sign up like you usually do, but.
Good evening. My name is Ian Thomas, 24 Jefferson Drive. Full disclosure, I am also a member of the Board of Ed, and any comments I make here tonight will be either as an individual Board of Ed member or a private citizen. Didn't get the opportunity to speak to you, many of you, after the meeting last week, but I just wanted to express my gratitude as a Board of Ed member, an individual Board of Ed member, for the support this body showed for the Board of Ed approved number of a 7.9% increase. And I also want to express appreciation for the approval of the CIP for the renovations to the auditorium. If anyone who has been to the Fitch High School auditorium recently or 30, 40 years ago, you haven't missed much as far as the infrastructure goes. So the upgrades that were discussed briefly last week, due to the lateness of the hour, there was not a lot of detail shared, but I can tell you that they are desperately needed. And also some of the detail that in the discussions with the Education Committee and also amongst the Board of Ed budget deliberations, the main hinge point between the neighborhood grant assistance grant and the CIP is about timing. So by approving the CIP last week, that actually enables the board to move forward during the summer to make the renovations prior to the start and complete the renovations prior to the start of the school year. If we end up having, if somehow something happens with that and is reconsidered, then that will actually cause, and we have to go through the neighborhood assistance grant, that will cause a lag in time, which will either delay the repairs for upwards of a full year to next summer, or the worst case scenario, well, I don't know which is worse, but it could cause for the repairs to happen during the school year, which would deprive the students of the use of the auditorium for most of the school year. So as the budget process moves forward and carries on through to the end of May here, I just encourage you all to hold fast to that commitment to support both the Board of Ed budget and the CIP. Both desperately needed. The auditorium, if you've gone to a show recently, you've probably seen the flickering light on what I believe would be called stage left. And as Dr. Kennedy referred to last week, that those lights actually cannot be repaired because the parts are no longer available. That's the vintage that we're working with there. So I would just encourage you all to support the kids and carry on with that. Other than that, I also would like to speak on behalf of the residents of Ivy Court and the Phoenix Apartments, Fieldside Apartments, and Sutton Place. There are a number of LLCs that are owned by a similar conglomerate, and they've been buying up a lot of properties, issuing eviction notices. So one of the things the Board of Ed has been doing is doing some outreach to the families for those who have students that are affected. Right now, we're looking at upwards of 60 some students that are being affected by this. We're using the McKinney-Vento Act to try to help these students stay in district, at least for the duration of the school year, and maybe into the future. But this whole situation just basically highlights the desperate need Groton has for affordable housing. We had opportunities with the Sealy School project and the Colonel Ledyard School project to put affordable housing, mixed income models into the RFPs. That did not happen. So I encourage this body to keep eyes open and ears open for any opportunity moving forward to advocate for affordable housing. We need affordable housing. The percentages that are often bandied about are not explicitly accurate because they often lump together military barracks, military housing, senior housing in with affordable housing, which those three things are not accessible to the general public broadly, and definitely not for families with children. So, well, there's some other barriers to that. So the actual affordable housing for low-income people is probably less than 10% if we actually peel back all the other layers. So we need to make an investment in that to retain the residents that live here that have already expressed the desire to stay here. So I've been doing some research, and I'll probably forward out some emails in the next few weeks with some incentives that are coming from the state that would help with that. Thank you.
Yeah, she's had it up already. Rep. Massa, do you have your hand up?
A point of clarification from the town manager, if I may.
Go ahead.
Okay. So if the CIP project goes forward and then the grant money comes in, am I correct in understanding that the grant money would come to the town and not to the Board of Education? The town would be the fiduciary agent for that money.
No, I believe the grant goes to the school, if I'm correct, but if they did get that, we'd have to look at whether to ask for the CIP or to, get those funds back. So until it happens, we don't, it's directly, the way it works is just think about that program. It's not really a grant, it's the in lieu of property taxes by the business. So it would, I believe, still go directly to the school though.
Okay, so it is entirely possible that that project, in theory, could be paid for twice.
Well, wouldn't be, if the CIP dollars are unspent, they'll be returned.
Okay, thank you.
Or if it's reimbursed, one way or another, I think, because if you do get those dollars back, it would be only for that purpose.
All right, thank you.
All right, is there any other members of the public that wish to speak? All right, we're moving on. Receipt of communications. I already mentioned the one communication that I received that, oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong person. It was not Norman, it was Cadden. Cadden's not gonna be here, and if she can make it, she will join in via Zoom, okay? You have this? Okay. Is there any other receipt of communications from membership here? Representative Fritchie?
Is this on? Yep, okay. good at speaking in these things, so you'll have to yell at me if you can't hear me. I asked earlier, Mr. Berg, if it would be, when would be an appropriate time to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion for the RTM to consider. And is this the time to do it, or is it, could
If
you
we
tell me
can-
when?
Representative Fritchie, if you could wait till item I, other business, then we could talk about whatever it is that you're looking to do.
Great.
Again, we cannot really have a discussion on something that wasn't posted.
Yeah.
Due to FOIA compliance.
Yes.
But if it's something that I think you might be trying to navigate, i.e.
Yeah.
a referral or something to that nature,
Yeah.
then we can discuss that in
Exactly.
I.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to know now,
Okay.
is when. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, did town council act on something that we need to do a referral for? I was just gonna check on that.
Yes, they approved the fourth quarter transfers
Okay.
last night.
All right, so just to give you all a heads up, finance, you're gonna have a referral coming your way for the fourth quarter transfers. For those who remember Monday's meeting, we were talking about how at the end of the year, typically, when accounts are in need of funding, they're going to do a fourth quarter transfer in order to get the money that they need to fill the expenses, and that would be coming out of contingency. So the town council approved it last night, and now it's going to come to us based on our rules, which is 6.3.5, if I'm not mistaken, or 6.5.3. That's the right one. And then, so let's see if we can try to get that done in the next 3 to 4 weeks, so when we have our June regular meeting, we can act on that, okay? I'm going to committee reports specifically for if there were other things outside of the budget. So I'm just gonna go through the roll, and no committee, no report, we can move on. Community Development and Service, just beyond the budget, no other items. Okay, Chair Whitney? Chair Powers, S? Same. Chair Burrill?
Same.
Okay. Chair Dean Shinbrot? Roger that. Chair Watson?
Same.
Thank you. And Chair Watson? Same. Okay, I'll take that. Are there any liaison reports that we need to speak of? Again, there's still some openings. I believe that Rep. Burrill is going to take over the liaison position as the police community group. Thank you for doing that. With Representative Mead resigning, we lost the Board of Ed, City Council liaison, so if somebody's interested in doing that, we can use some help on there. The Trails Task Force, Athletic Fields Task Force, there's a few others, so if you're interested in doing more work for the community, please come and see me. It'd be wonderful to have you. All right, moving on to budget discussions, and we're going to be doing that shortly, so is there any other discussion on the budget? Since we're in the middle of it, but we're at a regular meeting. All right, and Representative Fritchie, this is other business, so we can talk about other business. Now's the time. Oh,
I just want to make a reminder, through FOIA training, it has to be very limited, even under other business, no more than a few comments. If you have back and forth, it's in violation.
Roger that. Okay.
I want you to know, let me see this. Yeah.
It's on.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, you just got to pick up the microphone.
I want you to know that this is the first time in 3 or 4 years I've been here that, it seems like 10 years, but that I've ever made a motion. So I may make mistakes. My motion would be to send a letter to the town council asking them to consider applying more general fund balance to help reduce the increase in the mill rate.
Okay, so thank you for that. Again, that one's a little bit astray because it hasn't been on the agenda. What I can do as a recommendation is if we can make a referral to a specific committee to talk about this first, so that we can put it on our agenda for the June meeting, so that we can write that letter. But that's about as far as I want to go because of the lack of transparency on what our agenda was for this meeting. Is that, I'm pretty good with that, right? Town Manager Burke?
Yeah, the only thing about that is it'll be after the council finishes up their work and decides that. One option is if you had the committee, finance committee soon, it could be referral there, and then something you could tackle on the 20th if you so chose.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if that were to happen, it would probably
Except for
need
it's
to
a calendar,
happen.
not a regular meeting, though, it's the only problem.
Okay. So in theory, say hypothetically, if the Board of Finance had the fourth quarter transfers and had this discussion related to sending a letter, perhaps it would be just them sending the letter?
It could be that just, yeah, it wouldn't have a real official status. The only other option really is if they recommended it to your last budget night, but then you'd have to have a special
Special meeting too?
RTM to approve it, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how we're.
You could do a consensus letter, but.
Sure. And I understand what your attempt is. Another recommendation that I could do or suggest for you is to write a letter on your own to the town council stating that's what you would like to see happen. And if for some reason there were other people in this room that are sitting in these chairs that wanted to do the same thing, then hypothetically that could happen as well. Does that make sense?
If I could comment, the reason why I wanted to bring it to the RTM is because I think there probably is, having passed the school budget, which was really good, some sympathy for those that would be hurt by the increase that we're proposing. And if we had the RTM vote on it and saying that to the council, it would have some influence greater than me, myself, writing my own letter. So, but in the absence of that, I'm fine with doing what you suggest and what John would suggest also. You know, I'm not trying to, you know, make a big wave at Misquamicut Beach to, you know, overwhelm the existence of what we have already done. So, okay, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, town
I just
manager.
I see a hand up, I was just gonna
Oh.
make it, you can't have back and forth or further, so it can only be a clarifying question.
Yeah, so do you have a clarifying question, ex officio member, Counselor Bordelon, or are you planning on?
Yeah, I do, actually. My understanding is that it only takes a 2/3 vote to suspend the rules to discuss something, isn't that true?
That's true.
It
That's
is
my
true.
clarifying question.
It is true. So in
So
theory,
that option was not given to him, that he could
You-
discuss it tonight with a 2/3 vote.
So?
Mr. Moderator, point of order.
yes,
I think this is the regular RTM meeting. It is not the budget session.
yes, you're right, but I don't know what your point of order is related to. We're
The
in
point
regular
of
session
order
right now.
is there are specific rules that we need to follow.
You're correct. However,
Right. And I'm afraid we're straying from that.
I will respectfully disagree, Representative Massett, for the reason that we are under other business. We've set the boundaries quite clear that we can't go far afield from that. We had a member that had a suggestion, and we have been given some clarification for that suggestion. So if that is your intent, this is what would have to happen right now in order
Okay.
for you to make this motion a reality. In theory, you would have to make 2 votes. One vote would have to be to suspend the rules to do what you want to do, and then and get a 2/3 majority. The other would have to be that you then could make that motion, and then we could do that.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yes, thanks for clarifying, and I think I might have accomplished what I was trying to achieve through this discussion, and maybe that will, could be supported, and other people could write letters to the town council as well as myself. to solve the problem. Now, if you think we could vote and get a 2/3 majority, we could try that. I have a feeling it would not work. So I'm not pushing that idea, but I'm going to leave that up to you.
Thank you. Is there any other business? So we can tack on a letter on the referral list for the Finance Committee, suggesting use of general funds in order to offset budget expenditures. We'll put that on the agenda, okay? Thank you. Any other business? All right, seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn this regular meeting.
Second.
All right, motion to adjourn our regular May meeting by S. Powers, seconded by Pulaski. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. And abstentions. Okay, that motion passes unanimously. We still have 30 members present, 30 to 0 to 0. Okay, so that shuts down the regular meeting and then turns on the annual budget meeting. We are going to come back from recess from Monday's meeting. We're not taking a recess, though. We're going to be sitting down and getting on to the business at hand. We have eight accounts to deal with today. So I'm going to, Representative Adams, you had a question.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Considering we are now back in the budget and we have 8 accounts to deal with, I would like to propose to move a number of $14,807,889.
Okay, that motion was made by Adams, seconded by Dean Shinbrot. If you don't mind just giving us a rationale of that number, please.
The number is the total of the amounts that are on discussion for this evening. They are numbers that have been approved by the town council, by the committee, and we can make absolutely no changes to those numbers whatsoever. So in saving some time and being able to get out of here early, that's why I made this motion.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the motion on the floor is for...
Point of
just,
order?
Just 1 second,
Okay.
please. $14,807,889, which is the total of accounts 10003, 10005, 1013, 2120, 2060, 4010, 1076, and 1094. Everything that's on our agenda for May 8th. Go ahead now.
I just wanted the account numbers.
Oh, okay, all right. And if you want, I'll go along with it. It's voter registration, town clerk, finance administration, revaluation fund, Mumford Cove, Groton Sewer District, debt service, and contingency. And to restate what Representative Adams said, I'm looking here, and I think everybody still has these little spreadsheets that we were given by the town clerk's office. Thank you so much for that. All of these accounts are the same number that was approved by the council and approved in committee. If anybody would like some information and clarifying information from the chair of that committee, you can ask him for it, but these numbers have stayed the same through both bodies. I open up the floor for discussion on this. Yes, Representative Whitney.
Yes, I'd like to hear the committee report for these accounts. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead. No, he's been asked to give his report, and then afterwards, we could accept his report, but we don't have to do it. We're not out of order right now. He asked a question through the chair, which is in part of our rules, to let us know what happened during that report.
Just have to bear with me. It's not in the order that we did it, so. First up is the voter registration. Lots of pages here. It's account 10, it's account 1003, voter registration. It's found on page 56. Registrar Venditti was with us, and she's present tonight. Chairman Powers moved $316,027. It was seconded by Representative Norman. The discussion, the committee discussed early voting, advertisement, workers, the number of workers that were there, the different bus routes that were available for people to come in and do early voting, the different areas, and the different type of advertising for early voting. Chairman Powers asked for a vote. 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. That was the first on our list tonight. Okay, the next was account 1005, the town clerk, found on page 59. Town clerk supervisor, town clerk Dawn Raleigh was with us, Raleigh. A motion was made by Representative Dean Shinbrat, seconded by Representative Pulaski to move $390,831. Supervisor Raleigh was present and discussed the clerk's functions and account categories, the salary increases, and the operating expenses discussed along with the total union and non-union employees. Chairman Powers asked for a vote, 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstention. Next on the list is account 1013. Director Morrison was with us. Chairman Powers moved $1,789,784. It was seconded by Representative Norman. Director Morrison gave a brief explanation to the committee on how that functions, to the committee how everything functions, the differences in the department, the increases in contractual salaries and services, cost of materials and supplies was discussed. The committee asked about different cost centers as they relate to the private sector increases. Chairman Powers called for a vote, 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. Next on the list is the reevaluation fund 2020. Yep. Chairman Powers moved $156,275. It was seconded by Representative Norman. Director Morris reviewed the accounts and explained the build back for the reevaluation fund and how that worked. This fund is an average amount calculations as we go forward to cost to do property assessments, aerial mapping, GIS mapping with ground personnel coverage and some of the computer software that goes along with that. This is a state mandated process for all assessors' offices. This was an overall decrease of $135,000 due to the less legal fees and the settling of previous legal cases filed for appeal. The committee reviews those costs. Chairman Powers asked for a vote, 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. Next was 26C, Mumford's Cove. Once again, Director Morrison was with us from Finance. Chairman Powers moved $21,362. It was seconded by Representative Norman. The committee discussed the fire districts, the impact on this budget, and it was pretty much self-explanatory. Chairman Powers asked for a vote, 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. Next up is 410. Yes. It's the Groton Sewer District, found on page 192. Director Morris was with us again. Chairman Powers moved $1,283,322. It was seconded by Representative Gardner. The committee asked questions about the debt services as it relates to both the town and the city when it comes to the sewer district. Chairman Powers called for a vote, 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. Hmm. 1076 is debt services. And I'm still trying to find it here, folks. Just bear with me. Okay, debt services, 1076. Chairman Powers recognized Director Morrison. It's found on page 204, debt services. The audio feed wasn't good. This was the beginning of our meeting, and basically she explained that there's principals and interest payments on long-term bonds for the schools. The $677,434 reduction is due to the payments used on to reduce the debt. The committee discussed bond ratings, locked-in bonds, short-term bonds, and the state school bond audit. Chairman Powers moved $10,600,288. It was seconded by Norman. 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. 1094 is contingency. It's found on page 210. Yes. There we go. Director Morrison was with us. Contingency found on 210. Chairman Powers moved $250,000, seconded by Representative Norman. Director Morrison explained the contingency amount, the use of the funds, the quarterly transfer of money, and the need to use the fund. Committee asked about the decrease of the funds yearly and the impact on those decreases. Chairman Powers called for a vote, 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. I move.
We already have a motion on the floor, so I thank you for giving that communication to the body on the summary of the report. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, I just have 3 follow-ups.
Okay, 3 follow-ups.
Yeah, it's just one on the account 2120 revaluation fund.
Yes, sir.
Is that just for residential properties? Because I think our last one was at 2021 when our home values changed quite a bit. I was wondering, when does the commercial properties and the industrial properties, when do they get reevaluated?
Mr. Burt?
They're all done at the same time.
Right.
Okay. So they were reevaluated
At the same time, yes.
and so we went up a lot, but they didn't?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And I actually have a report on that I could send to the RTM.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And then my next question is on account 1076, the debt service. I just noted that it said in the budget book that no additional bond issues are scheduled for this project. This is the school project. However, a bond anticipation note is scheduled for April 2024. I was just wondering what that is.
So the the state, as you know, will pay part of the construction costs. They hold a certain amount back. Once the project's completed, they do an audit and they figure out how much is actually allowable, but they take years. Right now, they're several years behind. So that last little bit until they reimburse, because we had to pay our construction costs. So we have to keep rolling it every year until they finally audit it. And I do believe we just, actually, I think one of the schools actually did just come in, now that I think about it, which was quicker than we thought. Didn't we have a school reimbursement come in? Or they notified us, I think, right? Yeah, one school's actually, so I'm hopeful maybe this will be our last time rolling it, we'll see, so.
Oh, okay, so we're not.
It's a short-term note.
So, okay, so we might issue a bond.
We are going to this year, we have to,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
But I don't know yet for next year.
Okay.
For the next budget, but yes, we are doing it for now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then my last question was on account 1094 contingency. I think we're supposed to keep that around 2% of the of the total budget. But I was just wondering what the balance was right now. If we're lower than we should be, higher, I didn't know.
Well, that goes away every year.
Yeah.
That is just, we set it to wherever we think we're gonna need for that year. And it used to, if you look back a little further, you'd see it as high as in the even 400, 450,000. So that's more, honestly, when we had more snow. That's where a lot of that went over time. That wasn't built into the budget. As that's sort of petered out, it's leveled out, and we think we can go down to the 250 now.
Okay.
Worst comes worst, let's say something happens, police budget goes over the cut, and there's no contingency left. The worst case is we would have to go into fund balance. So there's always that option if we had to. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so again, main motion on the floor is for the accounts on our agenda in totality, $14,807,889. Is there any other discussion on the main motion on the floor? All right, seeing none, I'm going to call a vote for the totality of our agenda. Voter registration, town clerk, financial administration, reevaluation fund, Mumford Cove, Groton Sewer District, debt service contingency in the amount of $14,807,889. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. Abstentions. That motion carries unanimously. And if we could just have you, Representative Powers, come back up, and now that that's cleared, we can stay in order, and we can then accept the minutes as presented this evening.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as they are stated at the moment.
Second.
Okay, motion moved by S. Powers, seconded by Whitney M. I got to remember that now. All right, there's two of y'all. Is there any other discussion on the minutes? All right, seeing none, I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Aye. Oh. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. Are there any abstentions? All right, that motion carries unanimously. All right, I thank you for your efficiency and quick service to our community tonight. I am going to recess this meeting until Monday, May 13th, 6:30. Be here or be square. You'll also be able to do it on Zoom. We have many accounts, so it probably won't go this smoothly. So take the unicorn when you get it. All right, I'll see you on Monday.